In 2026, the world will be watching football's biggest stage: the United States, Mexico, and Canada. For many fans, Canada is simply one of the hosts, a nation expected to participate, a nation expected to celebrate. But what if they're much more than that? What if Canada becomes one of the biggest surprises of the tournament? Because beneath the surface, something remarkable has been happening. A football nation that spent decades in the shadows is suddenly producing elite talent, competing against the world's best, and preparing for the most important tournament in its history. This is the story of why Canada could shock the world at the 2026 FIFA World Cup. For most of football history, Canada was barely part of the conversation. While countries across Europe and South America built football traditions, Canada focused on other sports. Ice hockey dominated the national identity. Football remained in the background. World Cup appearances were almost non-existent. Their first appearance came in 1986. The tournament ended quickly. 3 matches, 3 defeats, 0 goals scored. And then, nothing. For decades, Canada disappeared from football's biggest stage. Generation after generation came and went without experiencing a World Cup. Many believed Canada would never become a serious football nation. But history was quietly beginning to change. The turning point came with a new generation of players. Players who weren't satisfied with simply participating. Players who believed Canada could compete. At the center of this revolution stood one name: Alphonso Davies. Born in a refugee camp in Ghana before moving to Canada, Davies became one of football's most inspiring success stories. His incredible speed and attacking ability caught the attention of Europe. Soon he was playing for one of the biggest clubs in the world. But Davies wasn't alone. Jonathan David emerged as one of Europe's most consistent goal scorers. Players like Steven Eustáquio, Tajon Buchanan, and others added quality throughout the squad. For the first time, Canada possessed genuine international-level talent. The gap between Canada and traditional football powers was shrinking. Fast. Qualification for the 2022 World Cup changed everything. Canada didn't just qualify. They dominated the final stage of CONCACAF qualifying, finishing above Mexico, finishing above the United States, and sending a message to the football world. Canada had arrived. The 2022 World Cup itself was difficult. Results didn't go their way, but the experience was invaluable. For many players, it was their first taste of football's highest level. They learned how small the margins are, how ruthless elite international football can be. And most importantly, they proved they belonged. Now comes the biggest opportunity in Canadian football history, the 2026 World Cup. At home, history shows that host nations often exceed expectations. Crowds matter. Familiar stadiums matter. Travel advantages matter. Momentum matters. When thousands of supporters are behind you, ordinary moments can become extraordinary. Canada will play in an atmosphere unlike anything the national team has ever experienced. Packed stadiums, national attention, an entire country united behind one goal. That emotional energy can change tournaments, and Canada knows it. The modern Canadian team possesses several qualities that make them dangerous. First, speed. Few international teams can match Canada's pace in transition. Second, athleticism. They can play with intensity for 90 minutes. Third, confidence. This generation grew up believing they belong on the world stage. And finally, they have star power. In tournaments, individual brilliance can decide matches. A single run, a single goal, a single moment. Players like Davies and David can create those moments. Canada may not be among the favorites, but knockout football often rewards fearless teams, and Canada has nothing to lose. Of course, the path won't be easy. The world's elite nations remain ahead in experience. Teams like Argentina, France, England, Spain, and Brazil have spent decades competing deep into major tournaments. Canada still has much to prove. Defensive consistency remains a question. Tournament experience remains limited, and expectations will be higher than ever. But that's what makes this story so fascinating. The pressure is enormous. The challenge is historic. And the opportunity may never come again. For decades, Canada watched the World Cup from afar. Now, the tournament is coming to their doorstep. A talented generation, a passionate home crowd, a nation ready to dream. Will Canada become one of the great surprises of 2026? Nobody knows. But one thing is certain. The days when Canada could be ignored are over. And when the World Cup begins, the world may discover that one of football's newest powers has been hiding in plain sight all along. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to Football Atlas for more stories, documentaries, and analysis from around the world of football. And tell us in the comments, how far do you think Canada can go at the 2026 World Cup? Until next time, keep exploring the stories behind the world's game.